Being from Ireland and currently living in London, I fly quite a lot. Now, there's a particular low-budget airline that I use fairly frequently, despite them having messed me over more times than I can count over the last few years. But still, I fly with them because they're cheap. Now, recently, they just went too far, and I'm going to talk about that today. Now, I'm not going to name the airline because I don't want to be sued. And I'm not going to do that thing where you go, oh, let's just call them blah blah blah, and say the actual name. Like, I'm genuinely not going to say the name. I don't want to get sued. But I will refer to them as the Blue and Yellow Sky Pirates. I'll let you fill in the rest. After a delay of 5 hours and my gate being changed 3 times, I finally got to passport check before you board the plane. The world's most miserable looking woman stood behind the desk in a high visibility jacket. Firstly, that's just cruel because you shouldn't make miserable people wear high visibility jackets. Surely they don't want their misery to be made more visible. I handed her my passport and gave her the classic, "Here is my passport" smile. She took one look at it and she sneezed on my passport. Still with a shred of optimism, I said, "Bless you." And then I noticed a long thread of gooey snot dangling from her nose. Before I could make the "you have an awkwardly long piece of snot hanging out of your nose" smile, she noticed it herself, and she wiped it on her sleeve. The end trail of this gooey snot line sandwiched itself between the last 2 pages of my passport. I bring this woman's germs with me every time I travel now. I often debate whether or not I should declare these germs at customs. I then followed the cold concrete steps down to the outside world, where I was greeted by a blast of cold air. The outside world was cold and grey and more Soviet looking than when I'd entered the airport. I suddenly got a strong feeling that my dreams might never come true. And then I saw the airline staff standing around the walkway to the airplane, all of them armed with whips and big sticks, which they then used to beat the passengers to bloody pulps in a mad flurry rush to the aircraft. The aircraft itself was still being built. You then have to jump from a stepladder to pull yourself up onto the aircraft. Only the strong may fly with this airline. Their original slogan was, "If you're old and frail, then hurry up and die already." And when you finally make your way to your seat, you have the airline staff scream, "Fasten your seatbelt!" and laugh maniacally as you search for seatbelts that don't exist. You then realise that the whips that had been used in your earlier beating were actually the seatbelts themselves. You sit down, and the slight force of you doing so causes your tray table to fall down, which we all know is the worst crime you can commit in airplane land. But before you have time to put it up again, the stewardess will come and slam your fingers in it 5 times as punishment for your actions. The safety announcement consists solely of, our emergency exits are secretly located and will remain locked in the case of an emergency. We hope you die. The pilot will then crash through the plane with a cigarette in his mouth and a bottle of whiskey in each hand, roaring, "Let's go get some sky, bitches!" And it leaves you wondering, what does that mean? If you order food, it is heated by the heaviest person on the plane sitting on it for a while. It is served by being thrown into your face. A rickety drinks carriage thunders up the aisle, knocking anyone in an aisle seat unconscious for the remainder of the flight. Unfortunately, that was me, so I can't fill you in on the horrors that occurred while I was unconscious. All I know is that when I woke up, there was blood everywhere. When you're about 100 feet above the ground, they think, we're close enough, and they turn off the plane, so that you come crashing down onto the runway in a ball of fire. Another successful landing. High five the blue and yellow sky pirates. That's not all. There is a deafening fanfare which tells you that you have arrived early despite being 8 hours late. It is so loud that it causes your recently popped ears to bleed. And finally, they left your bags back in the other airport, as you never specifically told them that you wanted to bring them with you.